Hi, everybody. Welcome to this second lesson on modern existentialism. And boy, I'm so happy. I'm so glad that you're here because we're done. We're through with the bad news, okay? The first lesson was not the most uplifting one, but the task was to lay out properly and in detail the problem of existence, right? Why it's so difficult to live, right? Especially in the modern world. And in what ways, right? Life, it's just difficult. It's a struggle. And so, but we're done with that. So in this second lesson, we're going to talk about great news. The great news and the great information that modern existentialism can give us, the answers that modern existentialism can give us. But I got to be clear from the start, friends. It's not like you're going to find the right answers to your problems, to your questions, reading or learning about modern existentialism. No, modern existentialism it's a philosophy of life. So, and once you understand what this philosophy is all about, then you will be able to find your answers to your questions, to the big why questions in your life. So I'm super excited about this second lesson. The name of the lesson, as you can see on the screen, is Discovering Who We Are. And like I said, I'm so excited about this second lesson. So I'm ready to start. So I hope you are too. Soren Kierkegaard, somebody we already talked about, founder of existential philosophy. And boy, I mean, Kierkegaard, there's many existential philosophers, very important ones, and we're going to be considering maybe a couple of more existential philosophers. Nietzsche, it's a tremendous philosopher with an incredible arsenal of ideas and contributions to this idea, right, of existentialism. Even though he did not consider himself a an existential thinker, but there's so much of existentialism in his thought and his writings. But something about Kierkegaard that I have to warn you about. Kierkegaard, friends, it's no easy reading. Okay, there's like three different kinds of readings about by Kierkegaard. There's the spiritual writings, all right. He's more writings inspired by his faith, his Christian faith, and with that goal, right, with that goal in mind, with the goal of enlightening people, believers, right, about the faith. And there are the philosophical writings, and these are the ones that are quite difficult to understand, I gotta say. I remember the first time I read Either or, which is his most important philosophical work. And man, I got to be honest with you. Like when I was reading that for the first time, I had no idea what the book was about, and I really struggled trying to make sense of the text. Like I was just asking myself, what is this man trying to say here, right? It seemed like the text made no sense. So it's important if you're going to tackle Kierkegaard's philosophical writings to consult other sources, read other books like Introduction to Kierkegaard's Thought kind of books. They're very helpful. They're going to help you make sense of his writings. But the easiest one to understand, where you see Kierkegaard's thought like more straightforward, is in it's found in his journals and personal papers and diaries. And this is his thought, like with no allegories, with no metaphors, with no complex vocabulary or ideas or concepts, and with no with a very clear and direct intention and meaning. So I always recommend my students, especially if you are serious about learning about Kierkegaard and his thought, this is where you should start with reading his journals and diaries, and you'll see what Kierkegaard is all about. So I'm going to share with you something that actually comes from his journals, an entry, and it's this one right here. Okay, Kierkegaard wrote this in his early 20s. He was quite young when he wrote this, and it says, one must first learn to know oneself before knowing anything else. Okay, right? We learned about, Socrates and the idea of examining ourselves because an unexamined life is not worth living, and that basically means to know oneself, right? So Kierkegaard here is taking the same position, right? The most important thing we should do is to know oneself, but not just that. He says here, before you embark on learning about anything else, before you go out into the world to explore, to have some sort of learning experience, because you're trying to understand or learn anything about the world, before you do that, you have to learn about yourself. You have to understand who you are. And it makes, if you think about it, it makes perfect sense because you are the person, when you go out into the world and you try to learn anything, right? If you don't know yourself first and you're trying to understand or learn something about the world, your judgment, your conclusions that you're going to draw, and the way you're going to process this information, this new learning that you're acquiring, it's going to be, uh, let's say, inadequate, or it's going to be polluted by, who knows, insecurities, biases that you might have that you're not aware of. So the information you're going to receive, it's not going to be pure, but it's going to be contaminated. Think about it this way. Imagine you have a tool, right? And with this tool, you want to fix something, but you don't know how to operate the tool. Okay, if you don't know all the features of the tool and how to use it properly, you're never going to be able to fix anything with this tool. Okay, so you first, before you use the tool in a practical way, in a useful way, you need to learn, you understand the tool and how it works and how it operates and all the features and all that sort of good stuff. So it's the same with ourselves. So if our minds, it's our tool, right? The tool with which we make sense of the world. We receive all this information and we try to make something positive, valuable out of all the information that we receive. But we have to understand this first, right? The tool, our thinking, who we are, before we learn anything properly. So that is what Kierkegaard is saying in the very first sentence here in this quote. So let's continue. Only when the person has inwardly understood himself and then sees the course forward from the path he is to take, does his life acquire repose and meaning. And wow, this is the perfect quote to start this second lesson with, because this is the goal, friends. This is what we want to achieve. We want to have those two things. And who does not want to have those two things, right? Repose and meaning. Find peace, sustained inner peace. The kind of peace that, you can, for example, let's say you go to bed at night and you sleep like a baby, that kind of peace. Not just one night, but every night. That is the repose, right, that Kierkegaard is talking about here. Being able to wake up in the morning and you're ready for the day. You're not intimidated. You're not scared. You're not freaking out, or you're not stressed about starting up your day. You're not. You know what's going to come your way. You're aware of the circumstances, the problems you're going to have to deal with, maybe difficult people at the workplace. You're aware at the beginning of your day, but you're fine. You're fine. You're ready. You're ready for the fight. And you have that strength, that inner peace. Who does not want that, my friends? That it's worth $1 billion. I mean, think about so many people who are prosperous, right, and very economically well off, but they don't have that. They don't have peace of mind. I mean, what's the use of that, right? So that is incredible, an incredible treasure to have that peace of mind, find repose in life and meaning, feeling that your life has value, that it has a direction, it has a purpose. Friends, that changes everything, how you live your life, like tremendously. Um, I don't know if you have met, you probably have, because I have met people who, I mean, they seem to have it all figured out. And I don't mean this in a materialistic sense. Like, I'm not talking about people who are prosperous, materially speaking. They have a great house, a great car. And I'm talking about people who seem um, so wise about their ways. Like, it seems like everything they do, it's right, it's perfect. They have the perfect job, the perfect marriage, family, the perfect life, right? In short, and people who seem to be totally unconcerned about all those things that we are concerned about. Like, they don't care about inflation. I mean, they seem to be unaffected by all these circumstances. And boy, and we admire these people because they have something valuable. And that valuable thing is meaning, their lives. They know what they're living for. And and man, um, I, I was just thinking about this gentleman that I met who had all these features, right? He was just he looked like so satisfied in life. And but he was a senior citizen. And it's funny because it made me think about Ernesto Sabato, remember? When he said that, yeah, well, about life, we're going to understand everything about life by the time we're, senior citizens, we're 80 or something. But see, that's part of the goal of these lessons is that you don't have to wait that long, that you can actually have repose and meaning in your life now, or you can start building, right, your way, working your way towards that goal, living a life full of repose and meaning. And you don't have to wait till you're 70 or 60, depending on how old you are, right? I'm pretty sure this is something you can attain, you can achieve at 30, but once again, depending on how young you are. But the point is, we don't have to wait that long. Like Sabato says, right? When our life is going to be pretty much over, to finally find ourselves in a place where we have repose and meaning in our lives. No, we don't have to. So, but this is what we got to do, right? We got to understand who we are. We got to know who we are. And we mentioned this in the first lesson, and we already have an idea how to know ourselves. We talked about examining ourselves, remember? And that means asking ourselves these important why questions with the philosophical attitude. That is, with a commitment to not rest until we find the answers we're looking for. And we're serious and we dig, we research, we ask, we do whatever it takes, but we're determined to get at the bottom of the issue, to find the answers, to find the solutions to our problems. When you have this attitude, friends, I said it before, you will find, I guarantee you, you will find the answers you're looking for. You absolutely will. Kierkegaard called this attitude, this self-searching or self-examining, he called it reflecting, right? Or reflection, right? He would use this term. Um, and I remember reading someplace in his writings, he said that he did not even have a childhood. That was one of the problems that he had, and he sort of regretted not having had a one of these childhoods in which everything is just so beautiful and you're so innocent, right? And he said that from the start, from as early as he can remember, he was just reflection from head to toe. Like he would just think about everything and figure out everything about himself and about everything else. So point is, we can start this developing this practice of reflecting. Once again, asking ourselves these why questions and finding the answers, right? Not resting until we find the answer. But here's another important warning for you, friends, because many people that I've talked to, they think that what they do is reflecting, but they don't. Most people, unfortunately, they don't reflect. They overthink. And friends, you do not want to do that. You do not want to overthink because you're going to feel like you're drowning. So I always, and here's the difference. This is how you know you're reflecting and you're not overthinking. Okay? This is how you know. When you reflect, you're asking yourself a why question. That simple. You're asking you identify, you know what the problem is. You clearly know what the problem is, and you're like, okay, I have this problem. Why do I have this problem? Okay, then you're reflecting. But when you overthink, you don't ask yourself a why question. You ask yourself a what if question. And the what if question, has its merit, let's say, in a particular context, but I don't, if the goal is to understand who we are, to know ourselves, that's not the question you want to ask yourself, the what if question. You don't want to go there because the what if question is a question that opens up so many possibilities in your mind, and you're going to feel overwhelmed by all these possibilities. What if I talk to the person? What if I don't talk? What if I talk to the person this way? What if he reacts that way? What if I don't talk about to the person at all? And what if I get in trouble for not talking to the person? And what if the what if question, friends, when it goes out of hand, I mean, it will paralyze you and stress you and produce anxiety in you. You don't want to do that. So don't ask yourself, what if? What if? That's not how you examine yourself. That's not reflecting. Instead, ask yourself, why? Why? Why am I in this situation? Why is so hard for me to talk to this person? Why I get so stressed or angry every time I'm confronting this individual or this situation? Why? And inquire and dig, and you will find the answers you're looking for when you're doing that, when you're reflecting and asking yourself this why question philosophically, right? Seriously, with that determination of finding the answer. But the what if question, oh boy, don't go there. And unfortunately, that's what most people do today, especially young people. So, and it's like you're drowning, right, in possibilities, man. You don't know what to do at some point in your life. There's so many possibilities in front of you that you just don't act. You can't act. That's not what we want to do. Now, in this first video, I simply wanted to lay out the foundation for what we're going to learn on this second lesson in discovering who we are. So, okay, most of the stuff that I just talked to you about, we already addressed it in the first lesson. But again, it was very, very important to, go over the idea of examining oneself and reflecting and understanding that it has nothing to do with overthinking for what we're going to learn in the upcoming videos in this lesson. And I gotta tell you, friends, I am so excited. On the next video, I'm gonna share with you an idea that absolutely transformed, revolutionized my thinking, my way of looking at everything. And it's an idea that does not come from an existential thinker, but from a different kind of thinker, from a philosopher. And I'm not going to tell you more about it till I begin the second video, but I hope you join me. For now, I'm going to say bye, but I hope to see you on the next video. I'm telling you, if you take out of all the videos that I'm going to be posting on modern existentialism, if you take this one idea that I'm going to share on the next video, if you take it, you grasp it, you make it yours, friends, it will transform your lives in a tremendous positive way. Like, so please join me on the next video. And for now, I'm going to say bye. So see you later.